Hi guys, how are you? My name is Tom Antos, and today I'm going to do a little review of some accessories for the Blackmagic cameras. Last week I actually did a video review of the new Blackmagic 4K camera, and one of the bad things that I was talking about was that the camera is not really well designed to be handheld or really be used other than just putting it on a tripod. And this is the same thing applies to both the new camera, but also the old Blackmagic Cinema camera. The cameras themselves are pretty heavy, a lot more heavier than your typical DSLR. But also, like I said, there's no really anywhere to grip the camera. Now you could do it like this, and I've actually shot a movie last year with the cinema camera, and I used it like that for a few shots until the camera slipped from my hands. And one of the problems with basically putting your thumbs up here and sort of bracing the camera this way is that this lens hood it very easily comes off. So once that slips out, then that's it. Your finger kind of goes through and the camera goes down. Also, another problem is if you want to hook up microphones here or some monitor signal out, then you can't really grab it up here because you're going to have all these cables sticking out. So you're definitely going to need some kind of a rig. And today I'm actually going to review the Gini rig. This one up here retails for $500. Now the main thing about this rig is the cage, and then everything sort of built around it and attaches to it. So let me first put the camera on here and just show you guys how it works in its typical setup. To mount the camera on there, you'll just need a typical a flathead screwdriver, but you will also need an Allen key. So this one type of one size Allen key will kind of work for all the screws, and you can really sort of modify this rig. Now, in order to put the camera in the rig, once you have it assembled, you actually have to sort of disassemble the bottom part of the cage. Otherwise, the camera fits really nice and snug in there, but at the same time, that makes it just that much harder for you to actually remove the camera or put it back in. So you do that, and then put the handles here back in there in whatever position you want, and this is of course adjustable, the angles. So the way that this whole rig is sort of set up is everything attaches to the cage, including these side handles that come with it, and the top handle along with the rails at the front and at the back. And when you put it all together, it allows you to use it over the shoulder, kind of like this. And you can still use the monitor here, you can look at it, although with the shade I find that it's, well, if you're shooting indoors it's okay, but if you're shooting outside, like I said in the review of the camera itself, so that has nothing really to do with the rig itself, but this monitor is like a mirror, so you can't really see anything. But also, like I said, if you wanted to use this shade, then it's not really the best position here to look at it, because it's kind of in the way. So you'll definitely need to mount a monitor, which is something I would recommend anyways, because like I said, the built-in monitor is not that good outside. And the cool thing about this rig is that, as you can see, it has all these different quarter, inch or 20, whatever, all these different size threads all around the rig. So it sort of looks like a giant sort of a cheese plate, and it has them all up here, even on the handles here, on the top, bottom sides, on up here. I mean, literally, anywhere that they found, even up here, you have all these screws. Anywhere that they found any space to basically put these, and they drilled it. And so what's great about that is you can then attach things, whether it's using one of the screws that come with it, you can just come up with your own things to attach to here. Or if you just simply buy those typical camera accessories like a monitor, like an arm, then you can attach it here, anywhere. You can also attach your microphones, all that stuff. So yeah, so that's sort of how the rig works. It is made out of aluminum. It's very well produced, like machined. Everything's very exact. Has this nice black coating on it. It's really just a great rig. I've used it so far on 2 projects, and I really haven't had any problems with it. It's very solid, and what's cool about it too is that the cage itself will protect your camera. So you can sort of easily, you can whether lay it on this side or even if you drop it up here and you have the back up here, it will stop basically the camera from hitting the floor. It allows you though, access to all the connections here on this side, as well as the SSD port. And also very important on this camera has a very big fan and vents on the bottom, And because it has all these, again, these pre-drilled holes, different sizes, yeah, you can attach accessories here, but you can also, you know, sort of rest assured knowing that the camera has, you know, somewhere to vent all the hot air outside. Yeah, so this is sort of I would say that, I guess, the way, the advertised way of using this rig. Now, that doesn't mean that this is the only way that you can use it, because it's kind of almost like a Lego, you know, this rig. It allows you to really customize it a lot and change it up and attach different things. And all of the rigs, you know, kind of use the same system. So if you buy, let's say, this rig and you want to convert it to let's say you're using it with a DSLR or some other camera, you can always find a way to modify it and use it with that camera. You know, either just by getting some other things, you know, in your local hardware store, or just by buying some of their other accessories that this company sells and modifying the cage slightly or the base plate. They also sell this really cool follow focus. It's very smooth, and it, you know, you can kind of use it up here like this. And as you can see, you know, you can put up these handles, for example, higher. Then you have your hand up here, and then, you know, let's say just with your finger you can pull focus. Very cool, you know, follow focus. Maybe a little bit too big, you know, from my experience, like working with like industry standard, you know, follow focuses. Maybe they're a little bit smaller, but then again, it does the job. It works, and it's very, like I said, most important, it's very smooth and just very, very well built. And you know, all of this whole system is built around the 15 millimeter rail system. And they actually give you, you know, extra, for example, rails like these up here, so you can really sort of attach more things, let's say on the bottom, on the top, however you want it. They also give you a lot of other things, like, for example, you know, all these screws up here that you see, and these little soft pads, sticky pads, to kind of protect the camera or any other gear that you have. And you know, you have different size screws. So you can really sort of modify this rig and you know, I guess, build it, you know, so it suits your needs. If you like this setup, then you can, you know, directly up here you can attach your tripod plate, and you can just mount it on a tripod and just use it that way, and then quickly take it off the tripod and you know, use it over the shoulder. If you want to use it, let's say, very lightly, then, you know, you can take these off. Same thing with the rails in the front. As you can see, you can use it like this, you know, or let's say just holding it from the top. You can very easily, again, adjust these things, these handles. You can rotate this angle and then the other angle up here, so you can use it more, let's say, forward or backwards. And as you can see now, the handles are more in the front, so you can use it like this. You know, let's say put the shoulder under, you know, so you can rest the camera on your shoulder. Very good handles up here, just the way that they're designed, and like I said, everything's really strong, but really light. The only thing these handles will not let you do is, like I said, you can adjust the angle this way, but you cannot adjust it basically how wide you want it. So the handles are pretty much going to be as wide as the cages. If you want the handles to be wider away, let's say you prefer to hold it, you know, a bit wider, then you cannot change that. Another, I guess, negative thing I would say is just simply the fact that, you know, once you mount the camera up here, you cannot really easily or fast, you know, remove it. Not that you would want to. I mean, you know, once I mounted it, I pretty much just kept it in there and I used it like that, because like I said, you can detach the handles, and the camera the whole rig overall is very light, so it doesn't really add to the overall weight of the camera, because the camera itself is heavy, so you won't see that much of a difference. But it would be nice if, for example, you see like how they have these little red knobs up here for adjusting this or the rails, if they could have done something like that for the bottom, so that in case you wanted to take the camera off, you could just easily, like I said, just, you know, loosen this up and take the camera out quickly. I had one instance where I was doing, it was more just like a camera test, but I just wanted to take this off quickly and put it on like a very light Steadicam, just to see if it would work. And, you know, then I had to actually, like I said, take out these 3 screws here on one side, on the other side, take out the whole, you know, camera with the bottom cheese plate. So that's really, I guess, say the only bad thing about it. Now, you know, like I said, you can really configure it, so you can attach, for example, these rails here that come with it, and they give you different size rails or different lengths. And for example, let's say you want to attach, the follow focus, but then also maybe let's say a matte backs or some other things, then all of these work together, so you can, sort of thread them under, and you can really make them, as long or as short as you want them to be. So if you have a really, really long lens, and then when you want to put a matte backs, so maybe something else, maybe some other filters, you can you can easily do that and modify the camera, and you can put the shoulder. We can put the rails here in the back for the shoulder also very quickly and take them off quickly. This is the one way of using it, but not necessarily maybe one that I would recommend setting up this rig. And now this is actually how I ended up using the camera with this rig on the last 2 videos that I shot. As you can see, it's basically what this allows me to do is I still have the top handle up here, so I can carry it easily. I have the shoulder pad. So I can do typical sort of over the shoulder shots, but I also put this little plate up here that I got on Amazon that allows me to mount it to a tripod, so I can mount the whole thing like this on a tripod, and I don't have to reconfigure, and then I can just easily take it off the tripod, put it on my shoulder in case I want to just quickly switch the kind of the kind of type of shots I'm doing. And I just personally prefer to put the rails on the bottom, kind of in your more typical kind of setup, because this way it works better with the matte backs. The matte backs is actually I'll do a separate video on that. I end up using the Gini rigs, also the follow focus. As you can see, it works really nicely up here. And another thing I added is this little power supply, which again, it just works with any sort of your typical rails. So this power supply, I got it at BH Photo, and it uses typical Sony L-type batteries. So they're pretty cheap batteries, and they're easy to get. And this will actually power the Blackmagic 4K or cinema camera. So yeah, I found that this is sort of the right now the best kind of setup. It's not the lightest setup once you add everything. But then again, if I want to quickly just take away things, like I said, I can just take out maybe the rails in the front. Not use the follow focus, not use the matte backs. I could even just take this battery mount. You can mount it directly here on the top, and then literally I can get rid of all the rails, and I can just have here just sort of a handheld rig that's a lot lighter, or just hold it from the top. Another thing, like I said, because this rig has all these attachment points, especially when I'm using this over the shoulder, it's kind of uncomfortable having to look this way to at the monitor. So I use a little magic arm that allows me to attach it basically here to the side, and I can attach a monitor, so which is this way, it's right in front of me, and I can attach the monitor from here, from this point, or from the top, however I prefer. And again, if you guys want to find out where to get all those things, all those little accessories, then check out my website. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of this Gini rig. There's actually a deal that the company is giving out right now. I believe it's 35% off to the first 50 people who go follow the links on my website, and the coupon code is Antos, if I'm not mistaken. But again, for all the details, just check out my website, and for that, just go to tomantosfilms.com. or click on the links in the description of this video. Anyways, thank you guys, and I'll see you